Drifting on by, you know how I feel.
A little refresher. Remember this guy?
Jared, this is when he was tearing it to shreds. Was this the night he got injured too?
The vision of what's been missing from Hawthorn's midfield. Few players experience disjointed years quite the way Will Day has over the past 3. He's about to make his return to the VFL, and everyone of the brown and gold persuasion has visions of this. And reinstalling that, including the coach, who I think might go quicker than a lot of us think if he looks anything like this when he hits windswept Williamstown on a chilly Friday night.
I can't help him, and neither can Zach, because he drove past it, but he hadn't played there either.
Will Day, great to see you.
No, thanks for having me.
How you feeling?
Welcome.
Right,
Thanks for having me, guys.
How you feeling?
Very excited. Yeah, it's felt like a long time coming, and yeah, I just want Friday to hurry up and come around. So
You've been on the Bomb app here. You've been looking at the weather,
yeah,
checking it all out.
Yeah, well, I've heard a lot of reports about Williamstown, so I've had a keen eye on it, but I should be all right.
No, so shoulder here. How long have you been ready to go? Like, I'm sure this is not the first opportunity that you could have played on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if we really were pushing, say, if we were around finals, I think last week probably could have got pushed across the line, but with where we're at now, we're really comfortable that we've had a great training block, and coming into this game, we have the most confidence, and the most confidence I've had in my body in years, so feeling really good.
What's mapped out for you? It's pretty prescriptive, what you've been told you're doing?
Oh, we've done a lot of planning sort of the last month. At this stage, obviously play Friday and see how the body goes, but yeah, we think I'm at a stage where I've had some good fitness, had some good full trainings, and get through this one, and we'll see what happens from there.
One and done, straight to the seniors.
I didn't say that, but we'll see how we go.
So managed minutes, start every quarter on the bench. What are your instructions?
Yeah, pretty much that. I think I'll end up playing about 60% game time. As you said, start on the bench every quarter, which will be a bit frustrating. The competitiveness in me will be hurting being on the bench, but obviously know there's a more grand plan, and really I'm just looking forward to having fun and getting out there with the younger boys, which I haven't been able to play with. So yeah, really exciting.
So the side benefit of all this is that the feet issues that you had prior to the shoulder when you say that your body's as good as it's felt, that must be a little bonus.
Yeah, I think when it's all said and done, I think this shoulder will be a bit of a blessing in disguise. As annoying and frustrating as it was, I think coming back now, it was able to give the foot the time that it needed, and we were able to do so many extra things in the rehab for that as well. So yeah, it's in a good spot.
So what's it been? It's been 16 games and no finals, 6 games and a season totally scuppered, and you'll start wherever you start after Friday night. Do you feel like this is going to be your run at it? Is that the mindset you have to have?
Yeah, you have to. I think I'd be lying if I didn't have thoughts that, am I just going to keep getting injured? Is this me as a person and as a player? But you just got to have that manifestation and the positivity, which I do now. And as I said, my body, I'm feeling so confident and just excited to get back to normality and doing what I love.
Yeah, we'll cross our fingers for you.
I think that's going to be a much-watched Williamstown.
Yep.
When was it? What game is that?
Friday
night. Yeah.
Friday night, blockbuster.
We'll just keep a little eye on it. Before we get to any of the just your form, Zach. So we were just having a little look through. 12 coaches' votes in 4 different games. You are the 25th ranked player in the AFL across the season so far. The little breakdown of how you've spent your time a bit more forward than you have done previously at 25%. And then just your cold numbers is your disposals is down just a fraction, but everything else is up. Kicking efficiency, score involvements and tackles. And the kicking inside 50, you are the number 1 ranked player in the competition. So that says you have lived up to your high standards. Is that how it feels to you?
Not really. No, I think it's really hard to separate the wins and scoreboards in a team sport individually. Obviously, I'm someone who loves and breathes and absorbs a lot of footy. I think I'm always pretty self-aware around how I'm playing from a subjective point of view, get a lot of feedback from coaches, and then obviously triangulate that data with a bit of champion data and stats. So I'm always tracking and the areas I need to keep improving on. It's felt a bit probably clunky this year. I don't know if that's the way we've been going, but trying to play different roles and plug different positions to try and help the team has been fun and a great challenge, but you don't probably get that continuity of playing one role. So yeah, I'm sort of there to help Brad as much as I can in different roles, and that split's probably been different to other years as well.
It's interesting. Clunky is an interesting word. What about mentally? Where are you at? Where's your head at mentally in terms of, you got a belting on the weekend, and we've been talking about last night and again tonight, and all of a sudden it's Essendon and it's Brad's future and your name's thrown around always. Where are you at mentally with it all?
Yeah, it's unique. I think last year being captain, you feel like everything is on your shoulders. I think this year it's felt a little bit different. I feel like I've been able to spend much more time sort of on the ground floor helping the kids, which has been really enjoyable and something I've loved watching. And in a weird way, even though the scoreboard hasn't been going our way very often, when you see glimpses of Farrell and Roberts live out there, you get a little bit of a spring in your step and that little bit of enjoyment. So I don't think any AFL player likes losing. Clearly 1-9 is not where we want to be, not where I want to be, but you're trying to get those little gains, little wins along the way as well. So mentally I feel pretty refreshed in a pretty good spot. I feel like there's so many areas of my game that I want to get better at, and I'm in a rush to do that. Although I'm getting older, I still feel like there's so much growth in my game. So I'm really enjoying Ben Jacobs. The first year we've worked together as a midfield coach, he's challenged me pretty strongly on a few areas that I'm trying to get better at, and that's sort of gets me sprung out of bed every morning.
How do you explain, we had Brad last night, but you as a player, the first quarter? So he said that he was as animated as he's ever been at quarter time. So to him to get to that stage, he's disappointed. Mason Redmond says it was, putrid, paraphrasing. How does that happen?
Yeah, how does it happen? I don't know, I think you have to ask every individual how they mentally prepared for the game. And I'm no doubt everyone had individual moments, including myself, you'd like to have back, but you do every game. I think from my point of view, you get inconsistencies when you're rebuilding. You've got a lot of young players on the field, so you're trying not to get too over-dramatised by one bad quarter. Obviously, it's disappointing when it's the first quarter of the game, a travelling side who's in the top two. We didn't get to put any real pressure on them as a team. And then the stings out of the game, and then we play well for 3 quarters, which is disappointing that it didn't start in the first 3 quarters. So wasn't glossed over. We went through a lot of stuff today in the review and trying to dig into what guys are thinking from a strategic, tactical point of view, but also a mindset to compete and challenge and be ready for the combative nature of AFL footy. So, for us, it's a quick turnaround, 5 days, dream time, another big opportunity for us. We're very lucky as a club. Feels like we roll into big games week after week, which is great exposure and opportunity to practice, but the bright lights are always on. So I think it's just going to be a great opportunity for us to respond as players and show up on Friday night.
The development is clearly there in the young players, and Brad did speak here last night and in his press conference around, the teenagers are leading this to some degree. How much of it falls to the senior core as to not living up to that end of the bargain at the moment?
Yeah, I don't want to distance myself or distance the senior group from the younger group. We're obviously all in it together as a coaching group and a playing group. So I think Neil Craig, my first year at the footy club, he was pretty ruthless, old Craigie. Used to talk about age as just a number, and when you're on the ground, football doesn't care and the opposition don't care. So from my point of view, it's like just trying to get set standards, set expectations for all players. I think to Brad's point, Sullivan Roby and Dyson Sharp have been 2 guys for us that we've been very excited by. They've come in, plugged in, completely reliable game one. And I think if you're a fan, seeing some of their highlights, they're going to be very good players for a long period of time. But as senior players, the older players, there's probably only sort of 5 or 6, I think, from the weekend. You're trying to perform as well individually and make sure you're holding up your end of the bargain. To then try and help and develop those around you in the game is a challenge in itself and a skill that I think we're learning a little bit on the go as well. So no doubt we can certainly be better and we can help them more. I think the pleasing part is, as Brad spoke to, is those young guys are taking their opportunity with both hands and they're very much driving the club forward as well.
Can talk to the frustration that we just put up the results, and we know your summer, right? So you haven't backed away or shied away from it. And then the results, we sit here at round 10 now, and you're 1 win and 9. So your frustration was real. I understand it. You confronted it. It didn't result the way you wanted it to, and you're back at a club now that is 1-9. How are you finding it? How do you sit here today going 10 weeks in and it looks like it hasn't resolved itself from a win-loss point of view?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously a win-loss industry and I play to win games of footy, but I was very much aware, clearly through the trade period off the back end where the club was at, and it was clear that it was rebuilding and backing in the draft. So, as I was touched on before, I think for me, as much as it isn't always 4 points, it's trying to find those little wins and little enjoyment moments, whether it's training, whether it's conversations with young players and try to guide them along the journey. And then
Is that enough for you, though? Is that enough? Like you?
Well, that's sort of where I am now. That's sort of what it is.
Yeah.
I've got to make the most of my current situation and where I'm at and where the club's at. And I still feel like it's a big responsibility and I have an ownership to make sure I deliver on that, to give those kids every opportunity to be successful Essendon players for the long haul. So, yeah, I want to win and we're trying to win every week and every other player is doing everything they can to support in that win. But you know, when you're 1-9 and you're watching big games, obviously you get jealous and you want to be playing in those big games and experiencing the big crowds. And no doubt Pendle's game on the weekend is going to be another one of those moments you feel envious of.
We were discussing before you came in, and with Brad last night, will Essendon hold the line? So the rebuild is there, the vision was set, the coach is absolutely dogmatic that he's going to follow it through the whole way. We've just lived through the Carlton circumstance. Are you at all worried that that the club will flinch if the losses keep coming?
Yeah, I mean, Brad and I talk most days, so we're in lockstep in that respect. I think all I can gauge off is the consistency and alignment from top down as it has been. The decisions have been made the last sort of 3 off-seasons that have been very clear and obvious to see. So from my point of view, I think everyone's very aligned and clear with what's happening. Clearly, it's an emotional and passionate game and losses are disappointing, not only for us internally, but clearly for our fans who want to rock up and be proud and celebrate and cheer. So I think we're aligned. I think we're pretty clear where we're going. And I know the fans have been extremely patient and we're very grateful for their support. But hopefully they can just be a little bit more patient.
Did you stick your head into the review or avoid it at all costs?
Nah. Yeah, fronted up to the review. Yeah, we obviously haven't been playing the way would have liked to the last few weeks, so we've done a lot of deep diving into what we can find, and yeah, should see a new team this week.
What'd you find?
Oh, I think we were trying to find the why. Like the last 3 weeks, we haven't been. We've talked a lot as a team, and Sam has, about effort, and that's probably what let us down on the weekend. So trying to find the why, because we are a team that love to play hard and try really hard. So, yeah, it's probably come to finding more of the joy in the game. I think as expectations have grown, and not outside expectations, but the ones on the inside of what we expect of each other, then that joy naturally starts to fall away a little bit. So trying to live up to the expectations, but don't let that hold enough weight that it takes away the joy when we don't meet it all the time.
Is there any concern that you lose Barris and you lose Gunston and all of a sudden your average numbers go down dramatically? I know you lost the game, so that's always going to be the case, but you're heavily relying on both of those key posts?
Oh, I think from a week-to-week standpoint, we do. They're 2 of the best players in the game right now, so I think any team losing those 2 would, but I think you see the players playing in VFL and players around them, we're confident that in terms of a continuity standpoint, that with Barras out for a few more weeks, we'll find the right mix-up down back, and Gunners is not far away, but we've got guys that can fire, but just didn't on the weekend. So, yeah, I don't think that's too much of a worry.
Quickly, is it going to have a debutant on Thursday night? Is Cam?
Yeah, Cam Nan's coming in, which is really exciting for everyone, and he's come in and showed a lot of promise really early, so we're all excited for that. Yeah, a bit of forward wing, really smooth mover, and yeah, a little bit like Farrow for the Bombers. I would liken him to.
Okay. Just give us a closing word on Scott Pendlebury. You're only 172 games short of what he's about to
Only,
use.
wow. No, I mean, I think he's the prototype, Mr. Consistent, isn't he? He's been a terrific player for such a long period of time. Not only consistent, but the level of consistency at the rate he does it is probably unmatched in our game. He's someone that I think everyone from afar has idolised or modelled some part of his game for themselves, whether it be the way he prepares and recovers or the way he plays. Week to week, he's been a champion of our game, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity for us as a game, not only Collingwood but everyone, to celebrate what an amazing milestone in our game's history, and hopefully the boys get the win for him.
Well said.
Great sentiment.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you Friday night.
Ready, mate?
And we'll keep a close eye on you Friday.
Good luck, Will.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Will Day and Zach Merrett with us on Players' Night. Razor is coming in next. He's going to walk us through a little bit of the history of holding the ball. How do we get ourselves here? How do we get ourselves out? Razor's Edge is next.